not a game, it's a rich thing.
What up, y'all? It is Tasha. I am back with another video. The next 3 episodes for Love is Blind season 6 have dropped, and y'all, I had to watch them. I was like, I'm just gonna watch one episode, and then one episode turned to the next episode, the next episode turned to the next episode. Before I knew it, I had to watch all 3 episodes. Okay, so here I am to give y'all a rundown of the episodes and my thoughts, because I actually took notes this time because these 3 episodes was jam-packed, y'all. So we just gonna jump right in. Before we jump in, I got a little pimple. Ignore my pimple patch. Focus on the content, okay? Focus in on what I have to say. All right, y'all. So we jump in on episode 7. Jimmy and Chelsea, they make up from their little argument about him disrespecting her in regards to AD. And of course, he has to reassure her 100 times. We see Brittany and Kenneth. They're talking about getting together with all the other couples. And Kenneth tells her, you know, how AD was talking to her. And here goes Brittany again saying, you know, because AD identifies as a black woman. And y'all know she said Kenneth identifies as a black man. Girl, these people are black. This isn't a situation where somebody is male and they identify as female or vice versa, girl. They are black. They don't identify as black. They are black. Brittany, I want you to stop saying that, man. But she's like, oh, if it's coming from a genuine place, then sure, you know, and I think that it probably is. But, you know, this doesn't seem to be her first rodeo with a black man, so she ain't worried about not being able to handle little black babies should they have those babies, okay? We see Clay and AD. He's pretty annoying with these red light kisses. We kiss at red lights. Clay, shut up. We see Jeremy and Lauren. They apparently got into it as well because of the whole, what was it, bean dips comment that he made. So he did not sleep in the bed with her. But she's like, I was just joking. But when I'm just joking, like, we don't need to share that information with other people. So he apologizes for his actions, says that he effed up. He takes ownership of everything. But is it just me? In this moment, I feel like he was still like, his tone was coming off real direct and harsh. Like, I effed up. I won't do it again. Again, I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. And it was like an apology, but also the way you were saying it was kind of like, girl, now get out my face and leave me alone. Maybe it was just me, okay? We see Amy and Johnny. Y'all, they are boring for the most part, but we just gonna highlight what they do, okay? Amy is nervous that, you know, everything is going so right with Johnny. Johnny is looking forward to their first argument for whatever reason, saying that they need it, okay? We see Brittany and Kenneth there on a boat ride. And child, what feels like 30 minutes of silence. I was like, Love is Blind. We could not have cut this, or do we really need to sit in this awkward silence with them, okay? They finally see some dolphins, and thank God. The dolphins sparked some type of conversation because Kenneth has swum with dolphins. She gets real excited. He's like, oh, we should have done that. It's a great experience. And then they kind of retreat and shut down again. I'm like, is Kenneth just happy to be away from them kids at that school, that he just happy to have a break, child? Just a break from it all. I don't know, but something seems off between the two of them. So AD and Clay, we see them about to grab some food. I really feel like, I want to say to both of them, but mainly just him, really like the look of each other and the look of marriage. But I'm not sure if they really want to be in a marriage. They talk about what they'll do when they get back to Charlotte, how they'll meet and tell their families. They have an awkward moment as well as they're eating, and Clay is like eating this soup like it is his last meal before he gets the electric chair or something. He even puts the bowl up to his mouth and begins to slurp. And I was like, girl, is the soup stealing your man at this point? Because the way he is making love to this soup, child. Okay. He starts arranging all the dishes, stacking everything up on the table for the server. And AD the whole time is just kind of looking at him like, what is happening? And I don't know if it was her being awkward. I don't know if Netflix Love is Blind just made it awkward by recording it and leaving all this in there. But we could have done without this as well, okay? AD, she just really doesn't look that interested in him in this moment. He says that he is worried about letting her down, even though everything seems to be going good. She says, you know, she feels some kind of way that he is more worried, and he is more so worried because of his family's history with divorce. His dad is a cheater. And I don't know why that makes him so nervous, because if you know what to do not to cheat, which is just not cheat, don't cheat. It's not like your daddy is passing down a history of prostate cancer or diabetes or some sort of health condition. Just because your daddy was a cheater does not automatically mean you will be a cheater, and that's something you should be nervous about. You know how to not cheat. Be faithful to your girl. It's that simple, Clay. Like, you getting on my nerves. I feel like in this moment as well, AD kind of realizes that she picks the same type of men, and she realizes Clay is that same type of man she always picked, which has not worked for her in the past. But we'll see how these two work out, okay? So all the couples meet up for a little beach day, drinks, games. Laura, Chelsea, and AD share that they all have smashed for whatever reason. Every time the girls get together, they always want to know these details. Laura talks to Johnny, because, you know, she wants to get to know the tea. Like, is y'all getting it in too? Because y'all know Laura just a little bit nosy. But Johnny is like, Amy is not on no birth control, and we not ready for kids, and I can appreciate the two of them for being very responsible, okay? AD has a talk with Jimmy. They talk about the night before, regarding, you know, Jimmy being a little bit inappropriate potentially. He shares some of Clay's demeanor with her as well, and that kind of reassures her, kind of how he retreats a little bit when he's about to, you know, go into something or he gets real serious. She's like, oh, thank God, I thought it was just me. Amy and Jeremy, they talk. She's nervous to tell her dad because he really wasn't agreeable about this whole process. Jeremy tells Amy that he's really excited to meet Sarah and he would still like to be friends with her outside of this. I'm like hell you will. What you mean you want to be friends with her? You think you're going to be friends with the other girl that you had feelings for? Jeremy, you really losing it, because, sir, if you was my man, that's gonna be a strong no, okay? Jimmy and Chelsea, they get together and talk about their least and favorite moments of the week-long vacation because they prepare to go back home. They both say, because he doesn't say the argument was the bad thing. He says that biting his lip because he was tearing up the food so bad. Okay. And she was like, that's your least favorite? Like, she was really expecting him to say the argument. But he's like, no, we needed the argument. She's like, yeah. Because, you know, she just agrees with everything he says. But they's like, it's needed if they're going to be together. Y'all won't actually get married and stay married. So there's that. Amy and Johnny also talk about going back home, and she thinks that if she doesn't get her dad's approval, she's not sure if she will go through with it. She says she really overly involved her family in previous relationships, and she says that's going to be a lesson learned for her going forward. Okay, we'll see. They all get ready to head back home to Charlotte. Y'all know this is when the show is going to start getting juicy, okay? So let's go. They get their devices back, and we are headed to the apartments. Jeremy and Laura talk about the things that they need from each other once they get to their apartment, to not get on each other's nerves. Kenneth and Brittany, they start getting their little apartment together. She seems to be getting a little bit annoyed because Kenneth is on his phone. And I mean, they've been gone for like 2 or 3 weeks at this point, and he's a school principal. So I'm like, I'm sure he needs to like check in on things. He probably has a ton of emails to do. So I understand. And y'all have already spent all this time together, girl. Give him a little space and y'all will be fine. All right, Brittany? AD shares with Clay that she talked to her family. They're excited to meet him. His parents seem to be excited to meet her as well. I just want to say that I get annoyed that she tells him a lot how cute and how handsome he is, and he does not tell her as much. And I'm like, I'm gonna need you to give my girl her words of affirmation as well, because she's out here looking beautiful. So Clay, step your game up, all right? But again, shares that his dad was a cheater. He shares that his dad, as a little boy, even took him on some of his cheating escapades. I was like, so your daddy just a player from the Himalayas, okay? Like, wow, you cheating on your wife, and you got the nerve to take your child with you to the mistress house, hotel, wherever you going for these women. Okay, girl, but he says he has a fear on if he can really be with one woman. Child, if my man say that, I'm running. So AD, I advise you to run. This man, to me, just talks to really hear his voice. And AD is basically Willow Smith at the red table. Yeah. That's good. Y'all too, can we please have some conversations of substance from you two? Okay. All right, episode 8. We're about 3 weeks away from the weddings. They're all seeing each other's places. Jimmy and Chelsea see each other place, and her roommate comes in. She's all excited, and he thinks the roommate is a bit too much. And in my opinion, she was not giving too much. Like, she hadn't seen her roommate in a while. She's excited that her roommate is now engaged. Jimmy, you just born in basic. So anytime anybody's a little bit excited, it's a little bit too much for you, okay? Jimmy lives pretty much in a small studio apartment, but they say because he does not have a roommate, they will probably go ahead and move in with him once they get married. AD sees Clay house, and I'm definitely going to give him his props for being a homeowner so young, but it is definitely a whole bachelor pad. But he's like, you are free to move in here. We have plenty of room when we start to get these kids popping. I got the space, so come on over to my place, girl, okay? Laura and Jeremy go to his place. And first off, because I love working out and going to the gym, when he lifted the garage, I was like, marry me, please, okay? Because I will take the garage gym. But his house is very, very clean, like almost sterile clean. But I'm not complaining about it because I am always going to go up for a man that is tidy and love to keep a clean place. They lay on his bed and talk with their outside clothes on, and he shows her how he uses his CPAP machine. I guess we got to get these things out of the way, okay? They go to Kenneth and Brittany go to his place. Kenneth definitely has a bachelor pad. Fridge is bare. Spice cabinets is bare. Pantry only got snacks. We then see them sit down, and they seem like they're about to start talking again. And Kenneth picks up his phone again. And I was like, now, Kenneth, I like you and everything, but why you keep picking up your phone as y'all are about to, you know, talk or have these conversations and things like that? I'm not understanding all this in your phone. Like, yes, you probably got to get things done since you've been away, but also let's do it in a time and a place, you know, even if it's, you know, her driving and then you're able to scroll, answer emails, do whatever it is you need to do. But it was like, you were starting to get on my nerves a little bit there, Kenneth, okay? But they start talking about giving each other grace and how, you know, the times when they may not be their normal selves, to give the other person, you know, grace, because it's not always going to be bubbly and high energy and things like that. And sometimes basically they just may need some me time. We see Chelsea's friends come over, and she basically tells them about the process. She lies and is like, I was dating a bunch of guys, he was dating a bunch of girls, like he was a popular guy in the pods. And she loves telling them how both of these men wanted her child. She starts telling them more about Trevor than actually about Jimmy. And I was like, not you having buyer's remorse, girl. You know you should have picked Trevor. Okay, but I just found that super funny that she was giving them all the deets on Trevor when Jimmy is your man upstairs, girl, okay? She then complains about Jimmy being on his phone, saying that day he hadn't kissed her all day. And she shared that Jimmy actually saw a picture of Jessica, and now she feel like he's being weird. She don't know if he's being weird because he saw the picture, because of work, because of her. And at this moment, I was like, girl, did you show him a picture of Jessica? How did he see a picture of Jessica? Because we didn't get any more details in this moment. So I was totally confused about how he knows what he looked. Do you want to do the review for the people? Huh? So Jimmy then comes down from work. He meets her friends. He tells them about his tough decision and how he didn't want to talk about another girl with Chelsea. Then Chelsea's like, no, you can talk. Feel free to talk. Chelsea, you ain't learned your lesson from him saying AD was stacked and you calling that out. You have not learned your lesson about, yeah. Just feel free to go ahead and talk. You gonna learn your lesson one day. But she tells them he tells them that she is his type and she is perfect. Jimmy, we not gonna keep going so heavy with these lies because it's getting a little ridiculous at this point, okay? We then see Johnny goes to Amy's place to see it. They talk about, you know, finances, how they want to get a house probably next year. They're saving because he really wants to retire early, like when he's 50. She was like, I also want to make sure that we enjoy life. So she wants to be a happy medium of, yes, I have no problem cutting back and saving, but also I'm going to need to go out on these trips because I need a vacation in my life. In this moment, I realized that Johnny talks a lot like a teenage girl. And I'm like, I don't know why I didn't realize this before, because I am big on voices, and his voice definitely now gets on my nerves. They talk about waiting to have a baby, and Johnny is definitely a little more rigid in this because of how he grew up. And I'm like, if this is the case, she ain't on birth control, y'all don't want to have no scares, sounds like y'all just will not be doing the do. But she says that is their main roadblock right now. It says that they really need to figure out something before the wedding. And when she said before the wedding, I said she needs to test drive the D before she actually says I do. Okay, that's what that was giving me from Amy. All right. So we see Brittany and Kenneth. They're having a conversation at the apartment because he got home late the previous night before. He says that he went to get his hair twisted, which his twist looked really good, and he went to go see his mentor. I can definitely see in this moment, Brittany is definitely an overthinker, because even previously when they were just getting back and she was organizing the house while he was on his phone, you could really see it in her eyes and in her all over her face that she was really overthinking him being on his phone and her kind of doing the house duties or whatever. And in this moment, again, we can tell that she's really overthinking it. She says that she is missing, that the missing piece for her is really the crave for him. Like when she was in the pause, she really craved for him. And I'm thinking, yeah, girl, you craved for him because you didn't know what he looked like. So you was really overly excited about what this man will look like because y'all had such a strong emotional connection. So it's going to be a little bit different now, but okay. But he says that's missing for you. The crave isn't missing for me. He's like, you know, I come in, give you a kiss. I don't want to, you know, do too much because y'all ain't going to do. So it's like, well, how far do you really go in terms of trying to be really physical and connecting? I am so proud of Kenneth in this moment, because although Kenneth is young, he is having a very intellectual conversation with her and tells her that sometimes we need to look introspectively. Like we need to figure out, yes, we may not be getting something from our partner, but what part are we playing in that as well? Because he's like, I'm giving you kisses and sometimes you kind of pull away or you back away. So that's kind of telling me you want your space in that moment. So I'm going to give you your space. But he says that he gets so concerned about her questioning the status of their relationship. And I totally get it. So in this moment, I'm like, so does she really like him? Like, I know she likes him emotionally and mentally, but physically, does she really like him? I really feel like she kind of want to get it popping a little bit, but she already said that she wanted to wait. So now they waiting, and Kenneth probably would be down if she would be down. But girl, Brittany, I'm sorry you in this moment, because Kenneth is a good black man and I don't need you ruining it for a good black man, okay? But he says, so he takes a minute and it's really silent. She starts to get teary-eyed, a little bit emotional. And then Kenneth says he don't want to force nothing that really isn't there. And all of a sudden it turns into, this isn't going to work. And basically, I hope you find the person for you. I said, what? Wait, what did I miss? I had to rewind it and watch it again and realize I didn't miss anything. It was like, y'all, I don't know if Kenneth came into this scene with like, I thought about this and this just ain't going to work for me. And he was just trying to find a way out. That's really the vibe I was getting. Not that makes Kenneth a bad person necessarily, because if it ain't gonna work, if it's not working, it ain't no need to continue on and us wasting each other's time and getting to this altar and then saying no. But it was just like, how did this escalate so quickly? But she starts to cry. He doesn't even console her. He starts strolling on his phone. He actually then leaves her downstairs, goes upstairs, and you can hear him talking to his friend on the phone, and he's like, I'll be there in a little bit. I was confused that I had missed a piece, or they have chopped and screwed this scene so much, because y'all, I don't know how we got from 0 to 100 this fast with Kenneth and Brittany. But just like that, we are down one couple. So now there are only 4 couples to go, okay? We back to Chelsea and Jimmy, and she's telling her that she basically did not get enough words of affirmation or physical touch from him that day. Girl, if you ever got to tell a man that, he is not into you. Men are physical creatures, and if they like you, they will be all up on you most of the time, especially this early in a relationship, okay? Chelsea, she gets on my nerves because she will bring up the things that she has an issue with, but then she starts to laugh or she starts to downplay the true issue as to, like, let me not rock the boat, let me smooth things over, let me not run this man off. And it's like, girl, if you got a problem with something, say it with your whole chest, and that is fine, because if y'all gonna be happily ever after, you're not gonna be able to keep up with this charade the entire time that y'all married. But apparently we learned that who is it, Jimmy and Jeremy actually went out together, and while they were out, Jeremy is like, hey, did you see Jessica's IG? And he was the one that showed him what Jessica looked like. So I said, Jeremy, you out here being, not only do you think you're gonna still out here be friends with Sarah Ann, but you out here now showing Jimmy what Jessica looks like. You know Chelsea cannot handle that. So she then complains about the way he tells her, I love you. Basically says that he says it with no emotion, and he blames it on him biting his lip while they were on the trip. And I said, again, girl, this is reason number 876. Why this man is showing you that he does not like you, and you are just ignoring everything about him showing you that he don't like you, girl. Y'all need to break up at this point. Brittany and Kenneth have already shown us that it's all right. So y'all need to go ahead and be the next one to be like, you know what? We tried. Let's exit stage left, all right? And then I guess at this point, Jimmy has had enough, and he tells her that she has been clingy that day, and that sets our girl Chelsea off, okay? And he says, you know, I've told you I love you more than any other guy on the show. And she basically is like, F them other couples and them other guys. I don't give a what they talking about. I am here for you, and what I'm telling you is you ain't doing XYZ enough for me. Jimmy, I want you to shut up, because I don't care what nobody else is doing. I need to know what you're doing for me, because we are in this together. You ain't in a relationship with everybody else. So she cries. She says she loves him, and she doesn't want to be with somebody that calls her clingy. And he keeps saying, but I want to be with you. I want this to work. I wouldn't be here if I didn't want this to work. Jimmy, you are trash. And Chelsea, you need to go work on yourself, honey. We all know this is coming from you feeling insecure and knowing that he now knows what Jessica looks like. So now everything is coming to the forefront, and your probably deepest fear of him then seeing Jessica and losing his ish over her, that you can't handle what is about to happen, okay? But then she, if that isn't enough, he's then like, and then we had sex earlier, and no, she was like, and then we just have sex, and he's like, well, you initiated, you know, I wanted to pull back on that too. And I said, child, not y'all already having pity sex, and you just doing it because she wants to do it. But again, that sets her off too, and she's like, F this. She says that she needs some space. She goes out to the patio. While she is out there, Jimmy is packing his little toiletry bag, honey, and he says he is going to his apartment for the night. And these two, I just don't know. I just don't know how they're gonna work out. We then see Jessica, and she is walking up to a building. And when I first see her, I'm like, Lord, no, please, not Jimmy, not Jimmy. But she is actually going to meet Laura. And oddly enough, child, these two are dressed alike. Same identical top, and their colors are just reversed in their top and their bottom. Jessica says that her daughter, you know, she got home. Her daughter was like, so are we getting married? And Jessica was like, you know, not right now. He wanted to choose between two people. He didn't choose me. Jessica tells us that Jimmy sent her a friend request the very next day they got back from the vacation. She says she didn't accept it, but then when she went to look at it again, he had taken it back, and he had put his page on private. She's saying that she's been really trying to heal, and she's not sure if seeing him is going to be a setback. And I'm like, trying to heal from Jimmy? Girl, you was in this pause with him for what, like a week? And this situation got you trying to heal when you never laid eyes on this man in person? Jessica, I'm gonna need you to deal with this, because ma'am, this ain't it either, okay? Laura also says that Sarah Ann DM'd Jeremy, and she had a screenshot of it, basically letting them know that, hey, no hard feelings. If your mind ever is shifting, holla at your girl. I'm here and I'm waiting. She says that he didn't respond, and I was like, yeah, maybe Jeremy didn't respond for you to see it, but I feel like he probably definitely responded back to her. Okay. All right. Jessica said that, you know, she did do her own digging of hers, and Jimmy has some exes, and all of his exes kind of look like her. And I said, now, Jessica, how did you get down that rabbit hole of seeing a friend request from him, not accepting it, going back and realizing that he actually took it back, and then now you went down the rabbit hole of knowing what his exes look like? Girl, you're putting too much energy into a man that did not choose you. Okay, now let's move on to episode 9. And first thing I thought about is, in these little gold goblets, is it always wine in here, or everything that they drink they have to put in a gold goblet? Because y'all, the way Chelsea always have a little golden goblet in her hand, girl, maybe we need to cut back on the alcohol if it is always wine or some kind of spirit in these cups. Okay, we see Jimmy is back at the house. They kiss like nothing happened. They talk about him calling her clingy. She tells him that he really needs to work on her delivery, that he needs to work on his delivery. She says she really needs to work on her emotions. He says he loves her. He really wants to marry her. He starts kissing her. The lies, the lies, the lies. We then see Jeremy meets Laura family. They talk about, you know, worst case scenario. Her mom asks, you know, why he went into the pods, and he said he had zero expectations, but really with Laura, he was able to express himself, so that's why he chose her over Sarah Ann. Laura tells them that they were in this love triangle in the pods, and I'm like, girl, some stuff your family just don't need to know. They can figure that out when they watch the TV show. I don't need to tell them that it was between me and another girl for my man. Okay. She tells them how they knew that they were the one, for each other. And her mom is like, well, he seems to be putting up with, you know, her and the things. So it seems like mama knows that her daughter is a lot. Her mom also tells her that they seem to talk a little bit harsh to one another. And I do agree with her. It's like that banter of, you wake up in the morning and say, I can't stand you, but you really love the person, but you're saying, I can't stand you or I hate you. Like, no, don't talk to me like that. And I feel like this is how the two of them talk to each other. Laura is hung up on this man wearing Hawaiian shirts, and I'm like, girl, shut up. What is the big deal? Like, you've known him for like 2-3 weeks at this point. You can always, you know, work on changing his style. But as for now, is he wearing Hawaiian shirts every day or just when y'all on vacation? Girl, be quiet. Her sister-in-law is really trying to talk some sense into her and really has a good head on her shoulders. But sister-in-law, you are wasting your breath with this child, okay? So now we are back to Johnny and Amy. They went to a little dancing class. And in this moment, every time it shifts to a new scene, I'm like, where's Clay and AD? Where's Clay and AD? Where's Clay and AD? Why are they not getting so much screen time in these sets of episodes? I don't like it, Netflix. They are the only black couple that we have. And this don't look good that y'all acting like they not worthy of camera time. We want to know what they doing too, okay? Like, I'm side-eyeing you at this moment. But it's Black History Month. I'm going to need you to the black people. Thank you. We then see AD and Clay. They go out to eat so she can meet his mom and his sister. We also learned that AD is not only a real estate agent, but she's also a VIP manager for a nightclub. They talk about their work schedules, and really AD wants more time with him when he does have the time, because it sounds like, I think Clay is trying to be an entrepreneur, but I don't know if he also has a 9-to-5. So then her being a real estate agent and then working at night sometimes, where they may just be like ships passing in the night. And there was an incident where he had some time, but he chose to kind of just stay where he was because of the location of where he needed to be. And it's like, y'all just gonna have to put in the time whenever you have the time. If you're gonna make this work, y'all have to make accommodations for one another. And his mother is telling him, because they're having this conversation, basically almost an argument in front of his mom and sister, and his mom is like, y'all need to give each other grace, because when someone is important and you love someone, you make the time. And that is so true. People make the time for the people that are important in their life, whatever that time looks like, whether that's phone, actually in person, FaceTime, thinking about them and sending a message, whatever that is, you have to show the people that you love that you actually love them, okay? Chelsea then meets Jimmy's girlfriends that he's known only a couple years. And I was like, so are these old flings that didn't work? Because why you got new girlfriends just in the past couple years. They asked Chelsea how she knows that she's ready to be married again, because she did share that she was married before. When they asked if she had ever lived with a male, she says she's at a different place in her life and she is really secure. And I said, girl, secure in what? Maybe secure a little bit in adulthood, but emotionally or physically about your appearance and yourself, you still got a lot of work to do. You still got a lot of work to do. And then they talk about their sex life with his friends. And I don't know why Chelsea always feels the need to talk about Jimmy. And we don't care. We don't find Jimmy attractive. And we really don't want to know how y'all getting it popping in the bedroom. And I that's just, for me, that's a no-no even with your friends. But his girlfriends, his friends that are women, you gonna really tell them about y'all sex life. I ain't saying Jimmy gonna cheat, and I'm not saying his friends will not make sure they don't cross the line, but girl, you gonna make people curious about your man. So I'm gonna need you to stop running your mouth so much, okay? Like, ma'am, cut it out. Amy then meets Johnny family. They tell them all about the pods. His sisters really like her. It seems that Laura and Jeremy, when we get back to them, they have some tension going on. Like, we see him sitting down with shades on. She come into the room. She sit down, and we immediately realize something has happened. Ish is about to go down. She immediately starts to get in his ass and says that he was out. He left the house at 10:45, and he was out until 5 o'clock in the morning. I said, say what now, Jeremy? We are in the South. I live in the South too. Our clubs and things don't stay open to no 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, where was you at, Jeremy? He tells her that he went out with the guys at the pod. They were supposed to go to one place and they ended up at another place, and he was telling her where they went at. And then he tells her that when they was about to go to the other place, one of the guys told him, like, hey, Sarah here, I don't know if you want to come. And he's like, I started not to go, but then I'm like, she's not gonna stop me from going to the places I want to go in and the people I want to hang out with. Okay, Jeremy, that sounds good. So he ends up going. He meets her, and the rest of the group obviously leaves, and they stay behind and talk until almost 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning, and you are an engaged man. Laura is pissed, and I don't blame her, because she says Jeremy should have shut it down when she sent the DM, and I totally agree, and that's further solidify why I think Jeremy definitely replied back and says in the back for he didn't just double tap that post so that he can acknowledge it. I believe he said something back to her. I believe he truly slid back in them DMs and said something. But Jeremy, you are in the wrong 1,000%. He says you should be good. I share my location with you so you know where I'm at. Boy, so that means you can stay out till however long you want to, because I know where your location is. He says they hung out in the parking lot. Laura says bullshit, because your location showed basically you were on the side of town that Sarah lives. And I said, checkmate, Laura. Now he tried to come out here and say you got my location, so that should secure you in knowing where I am. But also, sir, she used that same tactic against you to say, yeah, I know your location and I checked it and I saw where you were. Jeremy, are you that dumb, or do you not like Laura that much and you just want to find a reason for her to break up with you? She says they have nothing left. She gets up and she walks downstairs and says she wants out. So I'm like, at this moment, are we now down another freaking couple? We only had 3 episodes and so much has happened, y'all. Oh my God. Let me know how y'all felt about these 3 episodes, how y'all are feeling about the couples that we have left. I honestly feel like nobody really should be getting married, but if anybody gets married, it should probably only be Amy and Johnny, because they can figure out this whole birth control thing with whatever method they want to use. But they seem like the only couple that has some hope, and I feel like are good, healed people that should probably be getting married and sharing a life with somebody else. Most of these other people, at least one of the people in the couple or both people in the couple got a little bit more work to do, okay? But let me know y'all thoughts in the comments below, and y'all know I'm gonna comment back because I love chatting it up with y'all. And then we'll be back here again next week when they give us some more episodes and we finally see these weddings, y'all. Peace.